Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mandy and today we're going to be talking about my fourth grader. If it's your first time here, welcome. Make sure that you hit the like and the subscribe button and join our Facebook group down below. Okay, so I asked my kids what their favorite things were about homeschool and if they liked homeschool, because I get this question a lot from people who don't homeschool. I don't know why they do this, but sometimes people will actually ask my kids if they feel like they're missing anything by homeschooling. Like they're secretly asking them, like, do you really hate homeschool? Just, you can tell me, you hate homeschool, don't you? Like they really do that. Like sometimes, every now and then, like people will do that. And my kids are like, no, we don't. Like, we don't want to go to public school. People are just really weird sometimes when they find out that you homeschool. And I know I've said this before, but one of the things that I think people do, especially other parents who put their kids in public school, when they find out you homeschool and they have a negative reaction, most of the time it's not because of anything that you did. What it is they feel like you are secretly saying, I'm better than you because I homeschool, and they take it personally, when that's not at all what you said. They take what you said and they almost twist it into this offense against them. Like, well, you're not better than me. And that's why they'll say things like, well, I just can't do the things you do, or, well, I work too many hours to homeschool, or I just don't have enough patience for that. Honestly, they don't even know sometimes that they do that, but that's what they're doing internally. They're just rationalizing to themselves like all the reasons why they can't homeschool, and then they kind of just like throw that at you. So most of the time when people react negatively, just know that that's why. It's nothing against you. Okay, now that I got my little rant out of the way, I asked my kids, do you actually hate homeschool? Because people always want to know if my kids hate homeschool because, you know, and they both said no, like we would never want to go to public school. And my oldest has actually been in public school and he said, I would not ever want to go back. So I asked my kids, and we're going to talk about my fourth grader in this video. I asked both of them to write down their favorite things about homeschool. And I thought that my fourth grader's answers were just so cute. And you guys, he wrote it in cursive. Do you see the slant? Like, his handwriting is better than mine. Thank you, Rebecca. He started writing in cursive in first grade because he really wanted to. Not because I made him, or not because I actually asked him, but because he saw that his brother was writing in cursive and he wanted to write in cursive. And Rebecca actually gives you the option of buying manuscript or cursive handwriting books, and he begged me for cursive. So I said, okay, if that's what you really want, and he loved it, and he's been writing in cursive ever since. So his handwriting's better than mine, and let's go over his first answer. He says, I get to eat good food because I know the ingredients of it, which I thought was funny. So I asked him, I said, what do you mean by that? And he was like, well, you get to cook me everything, and if I ask you, I know everything that's in it if I didn't already know what was in it. And so basically he's saying there's no mystery meat, which I thought was really cute. So he enjoys getting to eat all of his meals at home instead of having to eat at the school cafeteria, which honestly, if I was homeschooled when I was his age, that would be one of my favorite things. I think that would be always one of my favorite things. I never liked eating the cafeteria food, and I always wanted to have a packed lunch. I hated the cafeteria food, absolutely hated it, but I hated being one of those kids who packed my lunch because those kids were always picked on. Did you know, like, did that happen at your school too, or was that just something at my school? It seems like every kid who packed his lunch got made fun of, but the only other alternative was to eat gross cafeteria food. So you can't win either way, you know? I would rather be made fun of, though, than have to scarf that stuff down. Okay, so his second answer is, I get to choose my own curriculum. So I asked him what his favorite choices were, and I knew exactly what they were going to be. So he said right off the bat, My Father's World. He picked out Exploring Countries and Cultures. He loves anything really, really bright and colorful and fun. And this to him looked like so much fun in the catalog and online, and he has not regretted this decision once. He has loved this curriculum since the beginning, since we started it, and he still really, really enjoys it. So he's loving that. And his second favorite, of course, you guys probably already know if you watch my channel, is his Apology of Swimming Creatures. So last year we did the flying creatures, and that in the cycle, that is the first book, is the flying creatures. So it's all birds, and he was obsessed with birds. He was making his own field guides. We had binoculars, we had everything. He was like outside all the time watching for birds. He still is. We still regularly get bird books from the library. This year, it's been swimming creatures, and now he's obsessed with the ocean. Sharks are his favorite thing in the world. His favorite shirt right now is a shirt he got for Christmas that has this huge shark on it. So he is just loving the curriculum choices. And I think really kids who get to pick out their own studies, they really like to do school more. I think it makes it more enjoyable for them, and then of course for you, because you're the one having to do it with them sometimes. So, you know, it's just a more pleasant experience all around when everybody's happy. So that was his number 2. I knew that that was going to be on the list. Okay, so his third answer is, I don't have to rush out the door to catch the bus. So of course, I think every homeschool kid can relate to this one. I know I could have, definitely. There were days I used to have to get up at 5 a.m. to catch the school bus, especially when I was in high school, because the high school in our districts always started the earliest. So, and we lived pretty far out of town. There was at one point, because of the busing system and the district system that I lived in Florida, that we had to be on the bus for 45 minutes before we actually started school. I had a 45-minute bus ride. So I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be bused all the way across town to one of the district schools. I hated it. Absolutely hated it. I was exhausted by the end of the night. My kids, I'm going to tell you guys a secret. We don't start school till like 10 o'clock some days. Most days, I'll be real, most days we don't start school till 10 o'clock because I work a little bit in the morning. I like to work out. I like to read my Bible. I like to not rush through breakfast. I like to drink my coffee, and my kids like to sleep in. And I have one son who is a teenager, and he likes to sleep. So, you know, I figure if we're homeschooling, why am I rushing them to get out of bed? Like, we have nowhere to be, seriously. I'm not going to rush him to get out of bed just to start his schoolwork. That's just silly. Now, if he was sleeping till 11, then okay, we got a problem. But he's up by 9, and he's making breakfast, and I let them watch, you know, cartoons for 10 or 20 minutes before we really get moving for the day. And it just makes the morning so much nicer, calmer, and, you know, we'll go into our day. But you know what, guys? My kids are still done with school by like 2 o'clock at the latest, 2, 3 o'clock, even if we start at like 9 or 10. So it's really not a big deal. You know, I'm not stressing about it. Nobody should be stressing about it. 4 or 5 hours for school is plenty when you homeschool. So those are his answers. Ask your kid the same question. If you already homeschool, ask your kids what their favorite thing about homeschooling is, and put it down below in the comments. I would love to know what their favorite thing about homeschooling is, just to give encouragement to anybody who might be looking to homeschool, so they can see what the kids really enjoy, and that, you know, they're not suffering here. You know, I think that people have this misconception that homeschool kids are secretly suffering in silence and their parents don't let them speak about it. I mean, it's so silly. It really is. Isn't it silly, guys? Do you guys get the same impression? Because I know I do a lot. Especially just sometimes the way that strangers will talk to my kids every now and then. I don't get that a whole lot anymore because we don't really see a whole lot of people outside our circle right now because of what's going on in the world. But every now and then we'll come across a family member that will say something like that, and it's just like, really? But my kids will always stand up and refute it and be like, no, we love homeschool. I never want to go back to public school. like you're crazy. So if you're considering homeschooling, let this be a little bit of encouragement to you. My kids love it, and I have the proof. And I did not force him to write it or force him to write it in cursive. That was all his doing. Okay guys, that's all I have for you in today's video. I will see you in the next one. Make sure that if you have any questions, pop them down below, and some of these great homeschool moms that are followers of mine will be sure to answer you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Happy homeschooling.